There's a counterintuitive secret that the most magnetic people understand. The moment you walk away the right way, you become impossible to forget. I'm going to show you exactly how to exit any situation so that people can't stop thinking about you. And it has nothing to do with playing games or manipulation. Most people do the opposite. They linger too long in conversations, over-explain themselves in negotiations, or desperately cling to relationships that are falling apart. They think more effort equals more attraction. But here's what actually happens in the human brain. When something feels complete, resolved, and finished, your mind files it away and moves on. When something feels unfinished, incomplete, or unresolved, your brain obsesses over it. It's called the Zeigarnik Effect, named after psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who discovered that waiters could remember incomplete orders perfectly but forgot completed ones immediately. Your brain literally cannot let go of unfinished business. So when you walk away the right way, you create this psychological loop in someone's mind that keeps spinning. They replay your last words, your energy, the way you carried yourself. But there's a specific method to this, and if you get it wrong, you just look like you're running away. Let me break down exactly how to do this. First, understand the power of the strategic pause. Before you exit any interaction, there's a moment where you need to create what I call positive incompletion. This is different from just disappearing or ghosting someone, which creates negative incompletion and makes you look flaky or immature. Positive incompletion means you leave when things are going well, not when they're falling apart. Think about your favorite TV shows. The best episodes end right at the climax, right when something incredible is about to happen. You're not frustrated, you're captivated. You can't wait for the next episode. That's positive incompletion. In real conversations, this means you don't wait until the energy dies. You don't wait until you've said everything you could possibly say. You exit when the conversation is still energized, still interesting, still full of potential. I watched someone do this brilliantly at a networking event once. He was having this engaging conversation with a potential business partner, everyone was laughing, ideas were flowing, and right at the peak, he looked at his watch and said, "I have to run, but we're definitely continuing this conversation. This is just getting interesting." Then he left. The other person stood there, visibly wanting more. That's the power of the strategic pause. Here's how you apply it. In your next conversation, pay attention to the energy curve. When you feel that upward momentum, when engagement is high, that's your exit window. Not when things get awkward. Not when you've exhausted every topic. Right when it's good. Your exit line should acknowledge the positive tension. "I'm enjoying this, but I need to go. Let's pick this up later." You're creating a bookmark in their mind, not a closed chapter. Now let's talk about the second element, which is maintaining your frame during the exit. Your frame is basically your emotional center, your sense of self that doesn't bend to outside pressure. When you decide to walk away, people will often try to pull you back in, and this is where most people crumble. They either get defensive and over-explain, or they get apologetic and weak. Both destroy the effect. Think about how a cat behaves. When a cat is done with you, it just leaves. It doesn't apologize, it doesn't explain, it doesn't look back desperately to see your reaction. It maintains its frame completely. Dogs, on the other hand, will look back, wait for approval, seek validation. People are more attracted to the cat energy during exits because it signals self-sufficiency and confidence. Your brain interprets that as high value. So when you walk away, here's the key. You need to be comfortable with the discomfort you're creating. Someone might say, "Wait, you're leaving already?" Most people hear that and immediately backtrack. They say, "Well, I could stay a little longer if you want." That's frame collapse. Instead, acknowledge their feeling without changing your decision. "I know, the timing isn't perfect, but I do need to go." Then you actually go. You're not being rude. You're being honest and holding your boundary. That firmness, that quiet certainty, is magnetic because it's rare. The third principle is strategic silence. This is about what you don't say during your exit. There's this compulsion people have to fill every gap, to explain every decision, to justify every move. When you're walking away from a negotiation and you've made your final offer, the person who speaks first usually loses. When you're stepping back from a relationship that's not serving you, the person who over-explains their boundaries usually ends up justifying themselves back into the situation. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're in a negotiation for a freelance project and the client is lowballing you. You state your rate clearly and add, "This is what I charge for this level of work." Then you stop talking. The silence that follows is where all the power lives. Most people panic and fill that silence with, "But I could maybe do it for less if you need, or we could work something out." That silence is uncomfortable, but it's productive discomfort. It forces the other person to process, to reconsider, to feel the weight of the decision. If you maintain that silence, they either meet your terms or they don't, but you haven't diminished your value. When you're walking away, use silence as your ally. Make your exit statement brief and clear, then actually exit. Don't linger explaining yourself. Don't send 12 follow-up texts elaborating on your feelings. Don't check back in 5 times to see if they understand. Your silence after the exit amplifies the impact of your departure. It lets the Zeigarnik Effect do its work. Their mind will fill that silence with thoughts of you far more effectively than any words you could add. Here's the fourth element, and this is where people really misunderstand the concept. Walking away isn't about playing hard to get or manipulating someone's emotions. It's about having somewhere better to be. This is crucial. If you're walking away as a tactic but you're secretly hoping they chase you, they'll sense that neediness and the whole thing falls apart. The real power comes from genuinely having a full life, real priorities, and actual boundaries. Think about someone who's truly busy with meaningful work, rich relationships, and personal growth. When they exit a conversation, it's not a performance. They actually have somewhere to be. That authenticity is what creates the magnetic pull. People can sense when your walkaway is rooted in self-respect versus manipulation. One makes them chase you, the other makes them dismiss you. So before you even think about walking away strategically, ask yourself, do I have somewhere better to be? And I don't just mean physically. Do you have internal resources, self-worth, and purpose that aren't dependent on this person's reaction? If the answer is no, then walking away becomes just another manipulation tactic, and people see through it eventually. The final piece is what I call the callback opportunity. When you walk away using positive incompletion, you want to leave a thread they can pull to reconnect. Not a desperate lifeline, but an open loop that feels natural to complete. In that networking conversation I mentioned, the guy didn't just say he had to leave. He said, "We're definitely continuing this conversation." That's a callback opportunity. It's assuming future connection without forcing it. Here are some examples of callback opportunities. In relationships, this might sound like, "I need some space to think, but I care about working through this." In negotiations, it's, "My offer stands if circumstances change." You're walking away, but you're leaving the door unlocked, not slammed shut. This satisfies a psychological need people have for resolution, while maintaining the tension that keeps you in their thoughts. Here's what this looks like all together. You recognize when energy is high. You make a clear, brief exit statement. You maintain your frame without over-explaining. You embrace strategic silence. You actually have somewhere better to be, mentally and physically, and you leave a natural callback opportunity. That combination creates an exit so powerful that people can't help but think about you long after you're gone. The real mastery here isn't in making people chase you. It's in knowing you're worth enough to walk away when something doesn't serve you, and doing it with enough grace that you leave the door open for better circumstances. That's not manipulation. That's self-respect. And self-respect, more than any tactic or strategy, is what makes you genuinely magnetic. So here's your practice. In your next conversation, leave when it's still good. Notice your urge to over-explain. Practice strategic silence. Build a life full enough that walking away isn't a tactic. It's just Tuesday. Master this, and you won't need to make anyone chase you. They just will.